Non-hard science fiction, extraordinary evolution, civilization collection, the home planet exploded, and humans escaped from the starry sky on interstellar trains. Chenin, who became the train conductor, loaded passengers for interstellar survival and created his own unique Fuyao civilization. Under his drive, passengers crossed like locusts, wreaking havoc on the starry sea. Developing technology, plundering races, destroying empires, trampling on civilization. Wanzhou trembled in the midst of the gunfire, and the starry sky was shrouded in ashes under the car. As the train raced all the way, the mysterious and turbulent universe was torn apart layer by layer. Chapter 1. The intrinsic relationship between the irregular vibration of the sun in recent years and the frequent natural disasters on Purple Star. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Bugu bugu as the sun rises, the crisp chirping of birds opens up a new day. On the sparsely populated Sanyang Street, Chenin splashed over the hot congee. Uncle Li, I went to school. The breakfast shop owner poked half of his head out of the kitchen, his smiling face stained with flour looking particularly festive. I wish you a successful graduation thesis in advance. Chenin smiled bitterly and said, I hope so. Then he scanned the code and rode his bike, swaying towards Yuanqing University of Technology. It has been 4 years since he traveled, and he has no golden fingers or any background. The only thing he has is this relatively smart head. This kind of peaceful life is actually quite good. After graduation, go to the astronomical station, work for 10 years, get a promotion and a salary increase, and life can be considered complete. Half an hour at the school gate, Chenin parked his public bicycle in a dedicated area, took out his printed paper, carefully studied it, and simulated the defense process in his mind. The title of the paper is The Inner Relationship Between the Irregular Vibration of the Sun in Recent Years and the Frequent Natural Disasters on Purple Star. I have been studying a topic for over a year, but I can't start over just because of a few words from my supervisor. He is a smart person, but not smart enough. If it were any other student, just overthrow it and find a good topic to write a paper and get by. But before his time traveling, he was a top student, known for being more serious, and naturally inherited this characteristic after his time traveling. The observation data will not be falsified. If the sun continues to vibrate at its current rhythm, the purple star will indeed collapse. The planet under his feet is called Purple Star, but it is similar to the data of the Earth before his crossing and can be compared to each other. Hey, what would collapse? Suddenly, a fragrance came from beside him, and then a big hand grabbed his shoulder. The target position of this hand is actually the waist, but due to the large number of people at the school gate, it was temporarily changed. I will collapse. What kind of wonderful perfume are you? Chenin turned his head and looked at him with disdain in his eyes. The girl is 1.8 meters tall, with a delicate face and a kind and wise smile, like a mother's love for her child. How real it is. Have you had breakfast yet? Sister brought it for you. Don't be nervous during today's defense, treat those teachers like wooden blocks, and don't embarrass me. Chenin really wants to give her a 360-degree sliding shovel. Has this month not arrived yet? To be clear, that night was not my initiative. You were responsible for what you did on your own. You know that I am very boring, and I have become a fool by guarding a pile of data all day. After graduation, I will go to the astronomical station, which is boring and not your dish. Besides, I have a goddess, and after graduation, I will achieve success. You. Li Ai, are you sure you can handle that slutty girl? I'm not forcing you to marry me and just play with me, am I? That layer of film always breaks anyway, cheap you are better than cheap others. Oh, did you secretly exercise? The girl's name is Zi Shu, a star athlete from the sports academy. She has represented the university in the National Sports Conference and achieved extremely impressive results, surpassing her peers. She has been designated as a member of the national team. She should have the opportunity to participate in next year's Olympics. Subsequently, with a series of verbal attacks, Zishu escorted Chen An into the teaching building and the defense began. The solar vibrations are irregular and may be related to particle storms with significantly enhanced extrasolar variations. I have studied 30,000 earthquakes with a magnitude of 4 or above, 2,000 volcanic eruptions with a magnitude of 2 or above, as well as tsunamis and typhoons on Purple Star in the past 6 months, all of which can form a close correspondence with the vibrations of the Sun. Based on my mathematical model, I infer that according to the current vibration rhythm, Purple Star may experience severe crustal changes within 100 years, and may even cause mantle bulges. In summary, I can draw a conclusion that the Purple Star will explode within 500 years. As soon as these words were spoken, the teachers in the room looked at each other in confusion. The department head looked at the dark-faced Mediterranean old man sitting next to him and said with a smile, "Your students are quite insightful, have a strong sense of logic, and the data is also very beautiful. It's just too idealistic. How about passing it?" Li Deguang patted the table twice and scolded Chenin, "Where are the detailed data? Speculations and guesses, the whole article is full of speculations. If this paper is taken out, it will be laughed at by others. I have asked you to change direction long ago, and you must listen. Anyway, you haven't passed it with me. With your ability, it's easy to rewrite a new one within half a month. Wait for the second chance." This result exceeded Chen En's expectations. 2 months ago, Chen En accidentally broke into Mr. Li eating tofu from a female student, and since then, Li Deguang has been looking at Chen En in a different way. Chen En has applied for a change of supervisor, but the time has already passed. After leaving the classroom, Chen En saw a pair of beautiful legs lying across her chest, not who Zishu was. "Do you want to give that old man a hard time tonight? Her beautiful face is full of mischief, it seems that she has done a lot of bad things in her daily life. Be quiet, don't act recklessly, be careful not to make mistakes and not finish your studies. Cut, sister, I'll take care of it. Let's go, I'll treat you to milk tea and call your buddies along. By the way, you said the Purple Star will explode, are you really fake?" On the way out of the teaching building, Chenin explained his research findings to her in detail. Zishu is a very interesting woman. Although she hates physics knowledge, she always listens to Chen En's lectures with great interest, and even draws analogies. "Oh, since it's going to explode, shouldn't we have fun in a timely manner? Why don't we come to your place tonight? Feel free to play, no need to take responsibility." Chatting with her always leads to interruptions, and Chen En has become accustomed to it. "Okay, I have no objection." Before finishing speaking, a man and a woman walked ahead. The man is handsome and unrestrained, while the woman has a heavy makeup on her face and is pretentious. "Chen En, I have a boyfriend now. Let's keep in touch less in the future. I'm afraid Sheng will misunderstand." Chen En thought he would have emotional fluctuations, but in reality, he didn't. Li Ai is a student he knows. She was originally quite innocent and lovely, but after 2 years of dating both inside and outside of college, she gradually changed from Li Ai to Li Yuan. The two of them have no deep relationship, they just get close and are misunderstood by outsiders. "Kid, don't pester her in the future, understand?" Fang Sheng was tall and covered in famous brands, almost hanging the hang tag to prevent outsiders from not understanding. Chen En smiled slightly, shook his head, and left in the wrong direction. Crossers should not be fools who are brained by sperm. They should always have their own reasonable judgment and know how to discard the dross. "Hey, isn't it really uncomfortable in my heart?" "It's okay, my chest is wide enough, come over here." Chen En glanced at her and it was indeed very broad. Remembering the feel of that night, memories still linger. "I will continue to introduce my paper to you. Let me tell you how Purple Star explodes, it's really exciting." As the sound gradually faded away, Yuanqing University of Technology was gradually submerged in the sunlight. At this moment, 200 million kilometers away, the sun seemed to have installed a super engine, causing a surging vibration. When the earthquake reaches a certain level, the sun can no longer retract and expands wildly in all directions. A massive solar wind swept around and rushed towards the purple star at a fierce speed. Dong dong dong, the pale purple planet trembled slightly, like a wild beast, gradually waking up. Chapter 2. The purple star is about to explode, and the interstellar train arrives. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Open it up, you open it up, damn it. I don't know how to play with your M-Pax. Darling, I'll go find you tonight. Wait for me, Mua, old Chen, why are you still writing your paper? In dormitory 451, Chenin was bombarded by 3 roommates in his ears, but he could still calmly and wholeheartedly think about problems. The roommate who asked was named Liang Yu. He had a thin and weak physique without much flesh, but he was a top student and was recommended to Kyoto University. Chen Anhui said, after I make the changes, I will publish them directly. If it is recognized internationally, I am too lazy to manage the school. You're not graduating. Yang Yuan, who had just hung up the phone, put down his phone and his shiny forehead looked like a big light bulb. This guy is a second-generation wealthy man who not only inherited his father's flower heart, but also inherited the excellent genes of the bald family. Another roommate who plays games is called Yu Guan, with a standard Chinese character face and a height of 1.9 meters. Games are not his favorite, he just plays them because he has nothing to do now. Actually, it's not his teammate Kai, it's his Tai Kai. No one in the dormitory is willing to accompany him to suffer abuse. I definitely need to finish my graduation. I still have a few abandoned manuscripts, just make any changes. Mr. Li cannot mess with me twice, otherwise it will be difficult to talk to the department leaders. Yang Yuan grinned and said, Li Guangtou has eaten the heart of a bear and the courage of a leopard. He dares to provoke our great physicist. Don't be cowardly, old Chen, just force him. When you become famous in the future, I will find 90.9 bodyguards to lead the way back to school, walk around, and throw the paper in the face of the old guy. Yu Guan also joined in and offered comprehensive blessings to Li Deguang without any blind spots. Ha! Old Chen, what kind of paper are you tinkering with? Purple star explosion. Liang Yu looked at it strangely. Chenin repeated what he had previously told Zishu to them, but they clearly did not have the same patience as Zishu, and half of listening made them drowsy. Old Chen spoke well and the data was very relevant, even though I didn't understand a word. If the purple star really wants to explode, do we need to prepare survival supplies in advance? Survival, where are you going when the purple star explodes? Are you going to Mars? Besides, the explosion will have to wait for 500 years, when our ashes will have been raised long ago. Suddenly, Yang Yuan, who was on the phone from the balcony, screamed and asked Chenin, I remember you mentioned in your paper that the precursor to a purple star explosion was the expansion of the sun, right? Chen Andao said, that's right. The vibration of the sun is becoming more and more intense, and irreversible expansion will occur about 300 years later. The phenomenon reflected is that we see the sun getting bigger and the Earth's surface getting hotter until everyone is cooked. You. Come and take a look, is it what you said? Chenin quickly ran to the balcony and looked up at the sky. The originally small sun had now become incredibly huge. What is the situation? Astronomical observations indicate that the sun has experienced a violent vibration, and the purple star will soon heat up by at least 10 degrees. It is recommended that everyone hide in basements or places with water. All trains stop at the station, all planes land nearby, and the solar wind is about to hit the surface. Unfortunately, scientists from the International Astronomical Observatory have confirmed that the sun's vibration is irreversible and will expand indefinitely until it crushes the purple star. In the 451 dormitory, roommates looked at Chenin as if they were looking at a deity. Old Chen, are you a fairy descending to the mortal world, right? Tell me quickly that it's not true, it's just a joke. Liang Yu was scared silly. Chen sighed and said, although I don't know what accident happened, reality shows that the purple star explosion in 500 years has advanced. Everyone, if you have family members, say goodbye quickly. We still have 3 hours of survival time in the end. The high temperature will burn us alive. Seeing him speak so casually, others are shivering with fear. After being stunned for a long time, Yang Yuan was the first to call his father, and Liang Yu and Yu Guan also called home. Chen took out his phone and flipped through his contact list before realizing that he didn't have parents. The basic rule is that both parents of the traveler have passed away, and he cannot avoid it. Also, due to his years of addiction to scientific research, he didn't make many friends. Speaking of which, apart from the breakfast shop owner on the street corner, there are only a few roommates. How about giving Zishu one? The phone was dialed out and the other person answered. Chenin, is it true? Is the purple star about to explode? Zishu, who had always been strong, actually had a crying voice, which made Chenin quite uncomfortable. Don't worry, we won't endure too much torture. We'll die quickly. We may not be burned to death, we'll be flattened by atmospheric pressure first. Woo-woo, when you say that, I feel like the air is so heavy that I can't breathe anymore. Chenin, can you come find me? I'm here. I didn't finish speaking, the signal was short. Chenin said in a deep voice, the solar wind is here. Boom boom boom. A massive particle storm seemed like a substantial gust of wind, fiercely impacting the surface of Purple Star. People hiding indoors are fine, but if they are outdoors, it can easily lead to severe radiation. Close the doors and windows, block the wooden boards, steel plates, and blankets, which is somewhat useful. However, with severe vibrations, cracks began to appear in the dormitory building. Chenin said, as I expected, unknown forces are affecting the internal structure of Purple Star, and fusion reactions are happening crazily inside. That is to say, our planet is now a triggered hydrogen bomb, waiting only for the moment of explosion. Yang Yuan roared, Old Chen, what should we do? Go downstairs, you can't be crushed to death. There were cries and howls everywhere, it's hard to imagine a peaceful scene here 10 minutes ago. When they arrived downstairs, people were stunned. I saw trains floating in the sky at an unknown time, opening their doors. The Purple Star is about to explode. Please board the train in an orderly manner. This journey starts from the Purple Star system and the first stop is the Lioli continent. The mechanical sound spread worldwide, causing a frenzy. Old Chen, was this also what you predicted? Yu Guan asked loudly. After a long time without a response, he turned around and saw no trace of Chenin. Where has Old Chen gone? Are you still in the building without coming out? Go find him now. Boom. The dormitory building collapsed with a loud bang, throwing dust into the sky. The train has sent a spaceship, is it to pick us up? Hurry up and find the place where the spaceship will dock. This should be the only chance to survive. The flow of people is like a tide, flowing into the streets one after another, and then feeling lost. Several spaceships arrived in Zhencheng, but in the end, they only docked in 2 places. One is the suburban airport, and the other is the Central Park, because only these 2 places can accommodate parking. Oh my God, there aren't many trains, and there aren't many spaceships either. So, they won't take everyone away. As the information spread, people went crazy. Those who live closer are ecstatic, while those who live farther can only be rushed by various means of transportation. Every minute and second is a life and death war. However, the crustal vibrations of Purple Star have become increasingly severe, and the resulting motion has reached the intensity of a magnitude 6 earthquake. Tall buildings collapsed one after another, streets were blocked, and desperate crowds could only walk there. As for how much one can survive, it all depends on luck. Chapter 3. Train conductor of train D1314. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Jinao Fuyao has been activated and has completed binding with the owner. Train carrier detected, may I ask if it is loaded? In the spacious cockpit, Chen En's soul was stunned. What is this place? How did I come here? He looked down through the porthole and saw the purple planet constantly shaking under the scorching sunlight, as if some kind of happy toy had been installed in the sphere. No, this seems to be a space perspective. Am I not at school? Congratulations to the host for being selected as the train conductor. You will be responsible for the operation of train D1314, train conductor. He shook his confused head and finally remembered what the train meant. Am I on the Interstellar train? Wow! The huge screen unfolded in front of me, displaying the entire 3D model of the purple star and the train. 4,000 trains are transporting passengers. The trains are all parked in the atmosphere, and countless spaceships are circling back and forth. Chenin took some time to accept the current situation and asked, do other trains also have train conductors? There is currently no train conductor for other trains, that is to say, the entire purple star only produced him as a train conductor, but he could only control this one train. What's the situation with the intelligent brain? Where did it come from? It took the past 4 years for the golden finger to awaken. The mechanical sound did not answer his question, but instead gave another reminder. May I ask if it is allowed to load the train with a roller coaster? Refusal will completely abandon the intelligent brain. Load now. As soon as the words fell, a dense stream of data flowed from Chen En's head to all sides, like tentacles reaching out to various components of the train. Fuyao has already controlled the train and is modifying the settings according to the owner's habits. Time calculation. April 12, 2024, Purple Star Calendar, 16.24.07, time correction. January 1, 2021, 00.21.35 in the Fushu calendar. All information about Purple Star has been obtained and is being packaged and stored in the historical database. The owner can view it at any time. The prompt is only a part, and more information is returned to Chen En's mind in the form of a data stream. What a magical experience! If I were to go back half a day, I would be able to write the most perfect paper, leaving Li Deguang speechless. Pop! He slapped himself. When is it? I still miss your broken paper. Fuyao, give me the train information. Wait, it's too complicated, please try to simplify it for me. After simplification, a list appears in the form of a virtual light screen. Train, Fuyao, intelligent brain, number, D1314 bronze, 0 stars, master Chenin, an ordinary human, load. 1 million people, actual load, 0 people, excluding train conductor, defense, level 0, firepower, level 0 power level 0 energy. 20%, remaining, status, 100%, perfect. There are hundreds of pieces of information. For example, the train has 10 carriages, each of which can accommodate 100,000 people. The train has a private area dedicated to the conductor, right next to the cockpit. Chenin is too lazy to take a closer look. What should I do now? The train came too fast, and selecting a conductor was faster. He didn't have time to think carefully. Fortunately, with Fuyao, everything that needs to be done can be instantly displayed on the screen. The purple star will explode in 2.5 hours. You need to dispatch a spacecraft from the police station to transport passengers to the surface until the train is fully loaded. Reminder to the owner, the more passengers the train has, the more potential it will have for development. This train will be heading towards Lioli continent, with 728,436 star routes available for selection. You need to confirm the train's route to help you improve the train's level and attract more passengers. Please note that the fixed station of the train cannot be changed, but you can change the star route during the journey. Chenin asked, what is the land of glass? Fuyao has no relevant information and can provide 30,000 reasonable guesses. the screen was constantly displaying text messages, making Chen dizzy. No need to guess, quickly send a spaceship to pick up people. Prioritize the source city of Xia country. After the order was issued, the doors of each carriage of the train were opened at the nodes, and spacecraft flew out one by one, heading towards the purple star at an extremely fast speed. Chen stood up and moved his body, carefully observing the cockpit. There is only one position for the train conductor, without a co-pilot. He glanced at the complex dashboard, with information constantly flowing through his pupils. He could easily distinguish the functions of each button and dashboard. But in reality, he doesn't need to do anything. Fu Yao will help him plan everything. Go out and take a look. Chen opened the cabin door and walked through the silver aisle to his private space. In the middle is the living room, with various rooms on both sides. The walls are in warm tones, which is in line with Chen's visual habits. What is the largest circular room, including the bedroom, kitchen, and study? That's the gravity chamber. You can practice inside, practice. For the time being, Chen walked around and conducted a field investigation of his own space. Overall, this place is very spacious, with everything available, but there are always shortcomings. The kitchen is short of food, and the study is short of books, which means this place is just an empty shell. He continued down the corridor and soon a downward spiral staircase appeared, arriving at a huge place resembling a living room. Continuing forward through the long corridor and various useless rooms, I finally saw the tall glass door. Chen opened the glass door and walked out, hearing a mechanical prompt sound in his ear. Welcome to Apron 1. Chen turned around and saw 4 big words written on the glass door prohibiting passengers from entering. What if a passenger violently breaks in? Passengers do not have any permission to enter the owner's private area, otherwise they will be directly executed. The apron is empty, with a floating platform next to it. Chen stepped on the platform and flew over a large vacant area before arriving at the first carriage. The carriage has 7 steel gates, all of which are now open. There are neatly arranged seats inside, similar to the hard seats on high-speed trains. Passengers can only sit in the carriage. If the train is upgraded to the silver level, a wider space can be added at the top, such as the passenger bedroom. Forget it, let's not consider those for the time being. For them, just have some to sit on. Ding ding ding. Reminder to the owner, the first batch of passengers are about to board the train. Upon learning that it was the first carriage, Chen quickly returned to the cockpit. He doesn't want his identity exposed. It's not that he's afraid of anyone, but rather cautious. After waiting for half a minute, the spacecraft numbered F3456789 returned and successfully docked on the apron. Welcome passengers to board the D1314 Interstellar train. Please leave the spacecraft as soon as possible and take your seats in the carriage. Long stays on the apron and hallway are prohibited. The large screen in the cockpit can see every corner of the train, and Chen adjusted the screen on the apron. I saw the doors on both sides of the spaceship open, extending a silver hanging ladder. Passengers from Purple Star were both frightened and curious, trembling as they rushed down. Is this the interior of the train? Li Jiaoshu, it seems different from what you said before. Li Deguang felt his authority being challenged in the crowd and said with a black face, the outer layer of the train is made of bronze, so theoretically, the interior of the train is not very good. Who knew it was decorated with silver inside? But your preface was insightful, and you said you have a very impressive student. I think you're bragging. Li Deguang didn't respond, muttering as he followed the crowd, fearing that there was no seat in the carriage. Chen looked interesting and did not make any interference. The old man was lucky enough to be able to board the first batch. Fu Yao, monitor the entire train and notify me if a girl named Zi Shu is found. Also, if Yang Yuan and others are detected, notify me. Since I have the means to save my life, I must prioritize protecting my own people, there is no doubt about it. Chapter 4. Massive Search for Planet Supplies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Outside the Yuanqing Central Park, countless people are gathered here, eagerly anticipating the flying spacecraft in the sky. No matter how many spaceships there is not enough capacity to provide everyone. The train will not take away all the Purple Star people, and its total capacity is destined to only save a portion. Outside, a large group of students were squeezed and their faces turned blue. Haven't you seen Lao Qin yet? Yang Yuan shouted loudly, his shiny forehead standing out in the crowd. Yu Guan replied loudly, I didn't see him, Lao Liang. Can you ask Zishu? Liang Yu's thin and weak body almost suffocated. He turned around to scan and found Zishu, who was not far away protecting the other girls. Zishu, Chenin called you before he disappeared. Did he come to see you? Zishu's lips were dry and cracked, and her face turned pale. She shook her head and said, I was just about to ask you, isn't he not coming out? I'll go back to school to find him. The disaster came too quickly, and students from Yuanqing University of Technology could only go in groups to search for the spaceship, unable to care too much. The spaceship is here, please don't leave, Zishu. In the fiery red sky, a silver-white spaceship is rapidly approaching. The crowd immediately boiled and pushed towards the Central Park without hesitation. Occasionally, someone falls down, screams a few times, and then there is no movement. Due to the shaking of the Earth's crust, there may occasionally be high-rise buildings collapsing on both sides, and the crowd squeezed into a pile cannot escape, only being crushed into flesh and mud in the desperate roar. The end is approaching, survival is extremely difficult, and death is in the blink of an eye. Zishu, you girls come to the front and we'll squeeze through. Several tall boys from the sports academy shouted loudly and tried to gather their classmates as much as possible. However, to everyone's despair, the spaceship did not dock in the Central Park, but instead plunged over from the top of the head. In the end, the spacecraft hovered outside the supermarket. The cabin door opened, and a large number of exquisite white and silver robots jumped down into the already dilapidated supermarket. In the driver's cabin of the train, Chenin opened more than 10 screens in front of him, which were the robot's field of view. Sweep away the rice, who knows if we can still have rice in the future. I'll take the potato chips, and I can't miss the spicy fries. I'll move all the beer away. Although this thing has simple craftsmanship and is easy to manufacture, it's still the taste of Purple Star and I won't be able to drink it again in the future. Chenin wants everything, not just food, but even daily necessities. Then go to the next supermarket. By the way, Fuyao, find out the grain reserves in Yuanqing. In no time, a grain storage point in Yuanqing appeared on the screen, with rice, wheat, and various types of meat. Send out a few more spacecraft, as much as you can carry. The train can only accommodate 1 million people, and with the carrying capacity of the spaceship of 10,000 people each time, 100 spaceships can fill the capacity. Chenin does not need more passengers, but instead needs food reserves. As the saying goes, having food in hand and not panicking in the heart, having a full meal is always a necessity. The first spaceship was the exclusive spaceship of the train conductor, and Chenin did not use it to transport large items, but tended to prefer daily necessities. Feeling about it, he controlled the spaceship to go to his own home. The community was already in a state of disrepair, and robots struggled to infiltrate and rescue some photos and souvenirs. The computer needs to be taken away, and I can't lose the 800 gigabytes video that I treasure. After completing all of this, the Purple Star was on the brink of explosion, and its temperature rose to 60 degrees. Let's leave, it's perfect. Chenin hummed a tune as the spaceship's field of view continued to rise. Although there are still many people in the city who cannot escape, it has nothing to do with him. He has saved millions of people, and according to theory, he can actually avoid millions of people. After the spaceship climbed 100 meters, Chenin suddenly noticed some familiar faces. Fuyao, why haven't Zishu and Yang Yuan got on the bus yet? The owner did not set their information data in advance, and the spacecraft was unable to search at designated locations. Damn it, didn't you remind me earlier? The spaceship is returning, take them alone. The surface temperature is gradually rising, and people's awareness is blurred due to the heat. So many people crowded together, making the central park like a steamer, scorching people's skin yellow. Zishu, hold on a bit, maybe there's a spaceship coming to rescue us. In order to make a way out, Zishu accidentally injured her lungs and is now in a semi-dizzy state. The student in front cried, there's no spaceship left. They won't come to save us, we'll all die here. They could clearly see that the trains in the cloud were closing their doors one after another, and the returning spacecraft had not come out. That is to say, the trains are already fully loaded and there are no seats available for them. The square was filled with cries and screams, and some even committed suicide in despair. Yang Yuan supported the exhausted Liang Yu and prepared to walk to a cool place to hide for a while. Even if he died, he couldn't die from the heat. Suddenly, someone exclaimed in surprise, "Spaceship, the spaceship is here again." The desperate square boiled again, with thousands of people waving and shouting, hoping that the spaceship would stop quickly. In the cockpit, Chenin asked Fuyao, "How many seats are there on my train?" "There are still 384 seats left, can it be overloaded?" "The train may not be full, but it cannot be overloaded. This is a basic rule and cannot be violated. If the owner wants to accommodate more passengers, please raise the train level. Let's not worry about these for now, let's bring Yang Yuan and the others in." The spacecraft hovered at a height of 5 meters, and the ladder extended down, specifically targeting the student area. However, the crowd was too crowded, and the thin and weak students were pushed aside. "Send out robots to suppress it." "Does the robot activate combat mode?" Chen and shook his head and said, "I won't open it for now. It depends on the situation. By the way, you said before that the number of passengers will determine the potential of the train in the future. So, what kind of passengers are most advantageous to me?" "Young, intelligent, and talented passengers are the most precious wealth, so, it's right for me to take these students away, it's in my interest." Dozens of robots jumped down and forcefully pushed the crowd away. "You guys, go up." The robot maintaining order reached out and pointed at Yang Yuan and the others, who were confused for a long time and didn't expect such a good thing to happen. "Don't wait, let's board the ship quickly." There were about 100 students, and they immediately helped each other towards the hanging ladder. "Zishu, we have help. Wake up." Zishu regained some energy and followed her classmates up the hanging ladder. Chenin didn't know if she had boarded the train. She looked around on the hanging ladder, hoping to find a familiar figure, but also hoping not to find it. A familiar voice came from behind. "That kid must have died long ago. He's always showing off his knowledge. What's so good about him?" The speaker was Fang Sheng, who even fled wearing gold and silver. Seeing the crowd outside filled with longing and hatred, Fang Sheng arrogantly said, "You're not angry, a group of lowly people. We're college students, intellectuals. What kind of people are you? You deserve to stay and wait for death. Damn it, it's a big loss." Li Ai, that woman, was even smashed to death by a building before she even got her hands on it. He was about to continue climbing when he suddenly felt out of control and was thrown away by the robot. "Hey, what are you doing? Help!" The crowd outside was already crazy, and after receiving Fang Sheng, they trampled on him recklessly, gradually drowning out the screams. In the cockpit, Chenin felt happy. "Do you really think I have no temper? In the past, I didn't care if I didn't argue with you, but now I use my spaceship to curse at me. So go to hell. Revenge must be avenged and cannot be left in space." Chapter 5. Train setting sail, with the goal of Starry Ocean. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. As the students boarded the spaceship, the scene continued to riot. "Why only let them go up, us? Don't be cowardly, these robots are empty. Let's rush over and control the spaceship." A riot broke out in the square, and countless people rushed towards the robots with fierce spirits. However, as several lasers sliced open the crowd at the forefront, they immediately calmed down. There are still 217 seats left on this train, which need to be screened. Although the approach was cruel, Chenin had no choice but to throw away passengers who had already boarded the train. He can only try to select some valuable people to take away. I heard there are still 200 spots left, and the crowd at the scene is boiling. Are you controlled by aliens behind your back? Choose me, I can be a cow, a horse, or a dog. Alien boss, choose me. I am still a virgin and can meet all your requirements. I am a celebrity, and my status is much higher than theirs. Please choose me. Chenin scanned everyone through the camera of the spaceship, and there were no more acquaintances. Detected that the owner has a physiological impulse towards beautiful women. It is recommended to choose beautiful women from the remaining quota, which can be used as pets for keeping. Chenin pouted and said, "What's wrong with the beauty? Will it be helpful for my future? Give orders, prioritize highly intelligent talents, especially engineers from various industries." After the order was issued, some people were overjoyed while others were desperate, and the riot broke out again. Chenin is too lazy to appease. Whoever dares to riot will be killed directly. Anyway, if they stay, they will also die. As highly intelligent talents sign up for the ship, the number of spots is decreasing. At this point, an accident occurred. Can I let my child and wife board the ship? I'll give them the spot. The child can't take up the seat, just let her mother hold it. A man with a burnt yellow face knelt on the ground, constantly praying. Chenin retrieved this person's information. Chen Guoyang, Senior Management Engineer, is management useful? To be honest, Chenin prefers engineers in the mechanical or electrical category. Reminder to the owner, management is more useful than others because trains do not require passenger involvement in maintenance or manufacturing. That is to say, engineers in the mechanical category are not as useful as management engineers. Forget it, put them all on, his family can occupy 3 spots, hurry up. Chenin has no fixed standards, just rely on his preferences. Finally, the passengers completed the task and the spacecraft took the robot away, flying towards the crimson sky amidst countless curses. In the cockpit, all screens were turned off, and Chenin stretched comfortably. How many robots are there on the train? At present, there are a total of 40,000 robots, including 20,000 service robots responsible for maintaining order in carriages. 10,000 engineering robots responsible for factory manufacturing are currently idle. There are also 5,000 combat robots and 5,000 mining robots. If the owner needs them, production can continue, provided that resources are sufficient. Where is it produced? Turn up the perspective view of the train with a swing. The first floor is the passenger level, with 10 carriages, including the conductor's exclusive area. The negative layer is the storage layer, where all materials and resources are temporarily stored, and factories and production lines are also temporarily set up here. The negative second floor is the power layer, which stores the energy of the entire train and is responsible for train operation. The negative third layer is the defense layer, which is the strongest position for train defense. It houses warships and combat robots. Currently, there are only 10 escort-class warships. The train currently only has these 4 floors. If upgraded, more floors can be added or the number of carriages can be increased. What resources do I have now? What can I create? The master currently only has passengers and supplies transported from the Purple Star, and no other manufacturing resources. The choice of the Star Road means the amount of resources along the way. Before arriving at the Lioli continent, it is necessary to increase the overall strength of the train as much as possible, which helps to reduce the threat level of unknown things. Chenin, I don't have a star map. How do I know how to choose a star path? Fuyao comes with a star map. May I ask if the owner agrees to load it? If you don't mention something good earlier, hurry up and load it in. In no time, a huge starry sky pattern appeared before Chen En's eyes. He only needed to reach out and touch to obtain basic information about the relevant area. Planets, nebulae, galaxies. Is there a resource? Is there a life star? Although it may not be very clear, one can have a rough idea. 3 million light-years away from the Lioli continent. No matter how fast the train's speed is, it will definitely not exceed the speed of light. Are you sure I can go there in my lifetime? There are jumping nodes in the starry sky that can be reached in millions of light-years in an instant. The key to our trip is to find the jumping nodes. Suggest the owner to awaken to the extraordinary as soon as possible. The higher the level, the longer the lifespan. What is extraordinary? And what about level? Compared to star beasts and stars, ordinary creatures are too weak and need to absorb superpowers for self-evolution. The extraordinary levels are Ascender, Star Treader, Crossing Star, Melting Star, Swallowing Star. How long does it take to become a climber? Ascenders increase their lifespan by 100 years per liter, Star Treaders increase their lifespan by 1,000 years per liter, Starfarers increase their lifespan by 10,000 years per liter, and so on. If you become the legendary god of the starry sky, you can attain eternal life. Chen became interested and wanted to continue learning. He asked, how strong are those who climb the sky? The essence of transcendence is to strengthen the body, evolve bloodlines. Ascenders will strengthen the entire body's skin, muscles, blood, and even every cell when you can cross the starry sky without any protective measures. You are the Star Treader when you can devour star resources to strengthen your body. You are the star-crossing man when you can merge planets. You are the fusion star. Chen En's heart surged upon hearing this and asked, how did he awaken? Master needs to search for energy crystals, and currently no energy crystals have been found in the galaxy. After understanding these, Chen took the elevator behind the cockpit and headed to the basement level. There is a floating platform here, carrying him around for inspection. His supplies are all piled up under the cockpit, and the wider area is empty. Under the first carriage, Chen saw a huge mechanical factory, where all the robots came from. Manufacturing robots requires resources, and if you want more advanced robots, the owner needs to obtain rare manufacturing manuals. Below the second carriage is the Spaceship manufacturing factory, and below each subsequent carriage are factories covering various aspects. And in the vast area between factories, there are storage points for various materials. Due to the lack of factory construction, the entire basement floor was gloomy, giving Chen goosebumps. Go back, the train should set sail now. When passing by the material storage room, Chen asked the service robot to carry things up and fill his living area. The robot can still cook, and Chen is very satisfied. Load all the recipes for Purple Star into them. Recipe already loaded. After dinner, Chen stepped onto the soft sofa and asked Fuyao to turn on the cameras in various parts of the train to display the picture of the Purple Star. At this point, the Purple Star has already expanded to its limit, and all life on it has long been destroyed. There is no more beautiful purple, only bright red magma left. Suddenly, the Purple Star exploded silently like a bulging balloon. Is it over like this? Actually, there wasn't much feeling, it was like a small ball exploding in front of me. Let's set off. The power layer at the bottom gradually starts to operate. What star route do other trains take? Most of them are number 7 main road. The so-called number 7 main road refers to the direction of the number 7 main road on the star map pointing towards the Lioli continent, where the Purple Star system deviates exactly 7 degrees from the Lioli continent. Where are we going? The calculation has been completed. It would be more in your interest for us to take the 18th main road. A deviation of 18 degrees means a longer journey, but definitely more gains. Then it's 18 degrees, let's go. So Chen chose a route that was different from other trains and plunged into the boundless deep sky. Chapter 6. Suggestions for keeping several beautiful pets. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The most beautiful fireworks that Purple Star people have ever seen are the moment when the Purple Star explodes. In the carriage, countless people burst into tears, watching their homes turn into a red patch of dust and gradually be devoured by the expanding sun. We will never come back. Who knows where to go now? Which of you has antipyretic medicine? She has a severe fever. In the rear area of the 10th carriage, Zishu's face turned blue and she trembled with cold in the arms of her female classmate Xiaoying. There is air conditioning in the train, and the temperature is suitable. But Zishu had previously injured her lungs and inhaled a large amount of hot and dry gas, causing significant damage to her internal body. Yang Yuan and others rushed over and casually placed Zishu horizontally on the seat. Her breathing is very chaotic, it's terrible. She may have injured her lungs. What should I do? Is there a doctor here? Yang Yuan shouted for a long time, even spitting out a mouthful of blood, but no one responded. After such a strong upheaval, everyone is trying to protect themselves, not caring about the lives of others. Lao Yang, what's wrong with you? Yu Guan asked in surprise. Yang Yuan chuckled and said, when getting on the car, I was hit by some turtle grandson. It's not a big problem. Let's go ahead and ask, the doctor will definitely have it. Before a few people could leave their seats, a robot walked up the aisle. The robot scanned with both eyes to determine the identity of these people. Liang Yu was greatly frightened and quickly said, we didn't violate the rules. This female classmate is no longer working. Can we save her? Robots are service-oriented, which means they are proficient in various basic abilities, and treatment is no problem. Amidst the frightened gaze of the students, the robot took out an injection and injected it into Zishu's arm. Just take a nap. You, take it and eat it immediately. The robot handed Yang Yuan another blue pill. Yang Yuan didn't dare to eat it, but the pain in his chest surged, and he could only grit his head and swallow it. Oh, I felt much more comfortable after finishing my meal, as if there was some cool air flowing through my body. By the way, are those robots flight attendants? The service was so good. Other people around have been paying attention to this area and making their own demands. I'm also feeling a bit uncomfortable. Can you give me some medicine? I'm hungry, do you have any food? I'm a bit thirsty, can you give me some water? I want to use the restroom. Where is the restroom, please? The robot's voice is cold, responding one by one. The train does not provide any supplies, passengers are requested to prepare on their own. Each carriage has hundreds of drinking water points, unlimited but not wasteful. Everywhere in the bathroom, urinating or defecating anywhere will be considered a violation. A man was dissatisfied and said, but why give them medicine? The robot's eyes flickered with red light, and the laser emitter on its shoulder was charging. The man was so scared that he quickly withdrew his head. In the cockpit. Retrieved the physical conditions of Zishu and Yang Yuan. Upon learning that both of them were recovering, Chenin no longer worried. How strong is the combat power of service robots? The service-oriented robot has a miniature laser emitter on its shoulder, a retractable alloy war knife at its waist, and bronze-grade daggers on both arms. Overall, although these robots are service-oriented, they can easily handle ordinary people with ease. Each train has a law enforcement team, also composed of service-oriented robots, with slightly stronger combat power than ordinary ones. After confirming that there were no issues inside the train, Chenin retrieved the external image. You can see the vast sea of stars in all directions, and trains are speeding through the nebula, reaching a speed of 1/10 the speed of light. At such a fast speed, the train did not come apart, and Chenin was extremely curious about the manufacturing technology of the train. Fuyao, if I give you enough materials, can you copy the train? This train cannot be copied, it can't be ignored, I'm just asking casually. Where can we supplement resources? There are a large number of resource stars in the surrounding starry sky, which can be stopped at any time for supply. However, considering the basic principle of keeping passengers alive, it is recommended to find the life star before stopping at the station since we have attracted so many passengers, we cannot let them starve to death. Chenin opened the star map and searched for the nearest life star, but surprisingly, it was 3 light-years away. San Guang Nian. After the train leaves, everyone will become bones. The star map is already outdated, and the recorded planet information is limited to super life, and there is no record of low-level life planets. How far can the train scan the starry sky? The high-precision radar equipped on the train can detect a radius of 1 billion kilometers with an error of no more than 30 million kilometers, and the response time is about 5 seconds, then use full power detection and strive to find the life star as soon as possible. Chenin knows the most about the situation of those passengers. When running for life, there is no time to bring supplies. Not everyone has the leisure opportunity like Chenin. Next is the boring journey through the starry sky. Chenin initially became interested in various data of the stars and sat in front of the screen, studying them carefully. But later it was discovered that any data could be analyzed instantly by Fuyao, and he only needed to look at the results. I feel bored after only half a day, what should I do in the future? Chenin returned to his living area and turned on his computer to play his cherished private video. Detected that the owner is very lonely, it is recommended to keep a few beautiful pets. Let's just forget about humans. If you encounter an alien race in the future, you can consider it. Oh, why is there still a lot of space behind the practice room? What is it for? If the front of the car is considered in the positive direction, the training room is on the right side, and further to the right is the unknown area. Chenin quickly went to check and Fuyao opened the glass doors everywhere along the way. The area covers an area of about thousands of square meters, with various cages of varying sizes and many small rooms arranged in a minimalist manner. This is the owner's pet area, where you can keep various pets for relaxation. This is very thoughtful. Walking further from the pet room, you will come to a place similar to an observation deck. Sitting here, you can be transported to the top of the train by the floating platform, with the real starry sky above your head. But the train was running too fast, and Chen Ongen could not have observed much useful information. Dong dong dong, he reached out and knocked on the glass top cover, very worried that this thing would shatter. It's not fun, let's go down. Chenin went to the living room, which is equivalent to the first floor of his private area. The living room is decorated with various purple star furniture such as sofas, and even many antiques from museums. Those rooms around were originally bedrooms, prepared for guests. Reminder to the owner, these bedrooms are prepared for your family, that's really thoughtful consideration. How about letting Zishu and the others come over? Forget it, I can't trust them to that level. Chenin fully understood his living area and then returned to the upper level to continue watching movies and rest. But watching too many small movies is also boring, it's better to watch something serious. The first day passed like this, and Chenin slept according to his normal schedule, which was relatively stable. Chapter 7. Train mooring into the solar system and collecting energy. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. On January 2, 2021, at 07.33.25. In the first carriage. Who else has food? Can we borrow some? There was a long queue at the drinking area, and the extremely hungry crowd could only drink water to cushion their stomachs. When there is really food, they hide it and don't dare to take it out and wander around. Li Deguang's voice roared loudly. Do you understand the importance of respecting the elderly and caring for the young? You young people can handle it and persevere more, but we old bones can't handle it. Young man over there, are you eating bread? Share some with me. As a professor, his pride has long dissipated, and living is his pursuit at this moment. Because no one knows when the train will stop, if it only runs for 10.5 days, most people will starve to death. The young man mentioned by Li Deguang quickly swallowed the bread, afraid of being snatched by others. Li Deguang was indignant and said, the world is going downhill, the world is going downhill. On the left side near the window, several flowing men surrounded a couple. I saw something to eat in your bag, take it out. The woman clasped her hands together in prayer. This is the child's snack, please leave it for him. The child was only 7 years old and trembled with fear in his father's arms. Who knows how long a child can live? What's the use of leaving it for him? Give it up quickly, otherwise you'll feel better. The woman pressed her backpack tightly under her body, and several men turned their faces sideways, ready to grab it forcefully. However, at this moment, the child in the man's arms accidentally pressed the button on the wall next to the seat, and immediately sounded a clear alarm. While a law enforcement robot quickly arrived, scanning with red eyes. Who called the police? Father trembled and raised his hand. I called the police, these people are stealing our things. Robot. According to the rules set by the train conductor, passengers are not allowed to fight or seize other people's property in the carriage. Violators will be locked down for the first time, punished for the second time, and wiped out for the third time. Under the urging of the robot, several thugs were sent to the confinement room outside the carriage, holding their heads and starting in 3 hours. After the robot left, the scene became noisy. Did you hear that? There's a train conductor. It must be an alien, I don't know what it looks like. Does the conductor like women? Perhaps I, who is naturally beautiful, could become the conductor's wife. Someone went to the apron to see that there is a restricted area guarded by a large number of robots, which may be where the train conductor lives. The news spread quickly towards the rear and arrived in the 10th carriage in just half an hour. Zishu, you look so beautiful. It would be great if you were liked by the train conductor. This way, we can avoid suffering. For Yang Yuan's words, Zishu punched him with a black face. Speak less and save energy. The students also have no food, either drinking from the drinking water or lying in their seats daydreaming. The female classmate next to her saw that Zishu's eyes were lifeless and whispered, "Are you still thinking about Chenin?" Zishu pursed her cracked lips and shook her head. I didn't miss him, I just felt regretful. He was the first person to discover that the purple star could explode, and he has a great chance of becoming a great scientist in the future. Unfortunately, he couldn't escape. Don't be disheartened, he may be on another train. Maybe you can meet again in the future. Zishu said bitterly, the vast expanse of stars can last for thousands or even thousands of years, and there is no chance to meet. Actually, I was quite happy yesterday because I was sure he had nothing to do with Li AI. Unexpectedly. Sigh. Warning. Train energy has dropped by 10%, in the cockpit, Chenin pays attention to energy issues. Where can energy be replenished? A standard stellar system has been discovered 800 million kilometers away for energy replenishment, then hurry over there. As the train approaches the stellar system, the scorching light attracts the attention of passengers. That is a star shaped like the sun, emitting a fiery white light. An astronomy enthusiast exclaimed, the train is entering the stellar system and may have discovered a resource star. If there is life, we can find food to survive. However, the detection of Fuyao has been completed, and the galaxy is full of meteorites or asteroids, with no life present. After entering for half an hour, the train successfully docked in the orbit of the star, only 90 million kilometers away from the surface of the star. Why can I look directly at it? The glass of the train is specially made to prevent any particle rays or electromagnetic waves from interfering, and you will not be restricted. The train has entered the preset track. Is energy collection enabled? Chenin is curious about how the train collects energy and allows the Fuyao to start operating. Subsequently, a panoramic view of the train was displayed on the screen, with dense hatch openings on both sides of the power layer, from which objects resembling pipes extended, shooting towards the stars like pythons. These pipes may not appear large in the image, but the adjacent scaling ratio shows that the diameter of the pipes reaches several hundred meters. When the pipeline approaches the star, its head explodes like a flower, extending a large number of hooks and claws, tightly grasping the surface of the star. What does this mean? Directly absorbing energy. The kinetic energy of the train comes from nuclear fusion, and we will absorb the fusion elements of the star, which is the most convenient. Are you misunderstood about convenience and convenience? In Chen An's view, there are also large amounts of fusion elements on other planets. Although mining them would take more time, it is at least safe. Now, the train draws directly from the star, which is outrageous. But considering the mystery of the train, it seems that anything is possible. How much time does it take to fully replenish energy? If only replenishing energy reserves, it will only take 2 hours. If replenishing fuel inventory, it will take 4 hours. Definitely fully replenished, all inventory needs to be available. Since there are 4 hours left, Chen decided to send exploration and mining ships to collect materials from asteroids outside. The galaxy is too chaotic. It is recommended to send warships to escort and clean up debris on the route. Okay, that's it. The speed of the spacecraft is very fast, and it will arrive at the nearest asteroid in 10 minutes, which contains a large amount of minerals that Chen needs. After the analysis by Fuyao, the mineral information will be displayed on the screen, and it will show what these materials can produce. Currently, it seems that most of them are weapons or spacecraft. Why do some minerals only have numbers without names? For example, minerals 47 and 65 are the basic materials for manufacturing warships, while the latter can upgrade the outer defense of trains. There are countless civilizations in the universe, and the naming of minerals and other materials is varied, making numbers more universal. Are other civilizations using the same numbers? The difference is not significant, because mathematics is the most fundamental discipline in the universe, and almost every civilization that can develop has its own mathematics, with only slight differences in expression. Next, mining robots will gather minerals from various planets and transport them back to trains in batches. The factories in the storage layer were started by Chen. At present, we mainly produce mining robots and transport spacecraft. Just like playing games, there must be enough farmers to develop. Chapter 8. Establishing a train bank and opening the train market. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What is the train doing? The passengers had nothing to do, so they leaned against the porthole and looked out. They can see the spaceship constantly shuttling back and forth, but they don't know what's inside. A clever person said, obviously, trains also require energy, possibly in the transportation of fuel. To have such powerful power, trains can only rely on nuclear fusion. Those pipelines are the ones that transport fuel. I guess spacecraft are transporting minerals in order to continue building trains. Oh my God, is the train still expanding? Some people discuss the train itself, while others discuss survival issues. What if the train keeps stopping here? Are we waiting to die? The train must give us food, otherwise rescuing us from the purple star is meaningless. Time passed through various meaningless discussions, and 4 hours later, the train set sail again, and passengers saw hope. 100% train energy surplus, 100% raw material storage. Robots and spacecraft factories are making full efforts to produce 20,000 mining robots and 50 cargo spacecraft. Freight spacecraft and passenger spacecraft in passenger cabins are different, as these spacecraft cannot carry people. Chen breathed a sigh of relief, as long as there was enough energy. The next goal is to search for the life star with all my might, otherwise they won't be able to hold on, and I won't be able to do good with my own resources, which wouldn't have been enough. So another day has passed. On the third day after the extinction of Purple Star, the train finally detected Life Star, located inside a young stellar system. Name, none, number, S360E5728496, classification, planets equality 8.43970 kilograms, diameter, 195,462 kilometers surface temperature. 46 degrees Celsius rotation cycle. 59 hours, 25 minutes, and 39 seconds, smart life, none, a large number of life has been detected on this planet. It is recommended to immediately send warships and transport spacecraft to collect resources. The screen displays the appearance of a planet, elliptical in shape and slightly green in color. Green means plants, and more importantly, animals. Can ordinary people log in? If possible, Chenin would like to transport passengers to collect their own data. The environment of this planet is very different from that of Purple Star, and Purple Star people cannot survive. It has been detected that the planet has a wide variety of microorganisms, which are prone to fatal outbreaks of infectious diseases among passengers. It is not recommended for them to come into contact with them personally. Chenin frowned, saying that although there is a life star, it cannot land, which is not good news. Fuyao then provided two methods. One is to awaken passengers to extraordinary abilities, as they will gain the ability to resist planetary pressure and virus invasion. The second is to manufacture protective clothing on a large scale, completely isolating them from the planetary environment. Chen unrolled his eyes. You're just talking nonsense. I can't even awaken myself. Where are they looking for Ninjing? As for protective clothing, let's not talk about whether there are materials made or not. What's the use of making them? Let them go on a trip. After some thought, Chenin made a decision. Let robots collect a large amount of data and then train them to process it into food. But there's one question: I'm not doing charity after all. Is it unreasonable to provide passengers with free service? He has been studying the rules of trains these days, and his understanding is getting deeper and deeper. Rather than fleeing with passengers, the train is more like carrying a load of laborers. However, these laborers are currently too weak and require more training. Suggest the owner to set up a currency system and open the train market. Chenin immediately read the information provided by Fuyao and realized that the train was supposed to develop in these directions, only to see when it would activate. Okay, set the currency to star coins and passengers can take out a loan to purchase food. In the first carriage, people were so hungry that they felt dizzy, and drinking water alone could no longer alleviate the problem. In the corner, a group of pale-faced men gathered here to discuss quietly. Instead of waiting to die, it's better to put in a fight. Next, we need to gather more people to break through the conductor's restricted area. I guess there should be food there, and even if there's no food, we can find opportunities to control the train in search for food. The timid one trembled and said, but those robots have weapons, we can't even fight them. And we don't know how many robots there are in the train. Do you mean we sit down and wait for death? Anyway, it's all death, I'm fighting. The person who organized the action is called Tian Wei, who is 5 big and 3 thick, and is 1.9 meters tall. Li Yan, go out and investigate the situation of the machine guards near the restricted area to see how many there are. Li Yan was thin and hunchbacked from hunger. Upon receiving the order, he immediately passed through the gate of the first carriage. It is not immediately possible to reach the apron after passing through the gate, as there is a large amount of vacant area in the middle, and it is currently unclear what its purpose is. However, to Li Yan's surprise, a large number of cabins appeared in the previously vacant area, which should have been newly built and decorated by robots nearby. He saw that the leftmost compartment was completely open, with the words, "Train Bank," written on it, flashing with colorful light, especially dazzling. What is this place? I'll go take a look. He rubbed his stomach and ran over. As he approached, he heard a voice prompt. Welcome passengers to the bank. Please enter the lobby to handle business. This is quite a strange thing. Is there a bank in the train? He boldly walked in when he saw that the machine guards had not attacked him. Unlike the banks on the Purple Star, there are no windows here, only transparent compartments with minimalist equipment, resembling a bank's ATM. The train bank serves all passengers and can conduct businesses such as deposits, withdrawals, loans, etc. The large screen in the positive direction displays various introductions, reminding passengers how to operate. Has my deposit in Purple Star also come over? Li Yan entered the nearby compartment with anticipation, and after a foolproof simple operation, it displayed his account balance. Sporadic coins. What is the use of star coins? The machine emits a voice explanation. Star coins can make all purchases on the train, including purchasing weapons, daily necessities, energy, food, etc. in the market. The word food made Li Yan's eyes widen and he urgently asked, is there really food? How can I get the star coins? There is currently no channel for passengers to earn coins on the train. It is recommended that passengers take out a loan. Ordinary people have a loan limit of 500 coins. Li Yan was surprised and said, it's indeed the style of banks. How can I borrow? Give me some to try first. Whether it's true or false, he has nothing, so why not give it a try? The operation process appears on the machine screen. A few minutes later, the balance of 50 star coins appeared in Li Yan's account. Can we buy food now? The market is completely open, passengers are advised to try it out. Li Yan hurriedly left the bank and headed to the neighboring market. Next to the bank is the market, which is also very convenient. The market is very large, like a supermarket. Li Yan looked up and saw that there were 3 white silver channels in the market, one on the left, one on the middle, and one on the right. In front of each channel, there were 2 machine guards with live ammunition. Can I go in? He walked to the first passage. The robot seems to have no response from the sculpture, but the market is giving a reminder. Welcome passengers to Market Number 1. Chapter 9. Discovering Energy Crystal Mines and Awakening to Extraordinary Things. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. What are the main types of food? Chenin was drinking cola brought by Purple Star in the cockpit and eating freshly grilled pork tenderloin in the kitchen. Meat comes from a fat animal similar to a pig, which can grow to thousands of pounds in size, but a few bullets can end its life. There are 2 types of food. Meat and vegetarian. Meat is mainly consumed by various animals, and all disinfection and sterilization work has been done, all of which are cooked. Vegetarianism is mainly based on fern plants, which are processed and made into pastry shapes. Due to their large quantity, they can be sold at a low price. There are also many unique fruits on this planet, which will be sold in rare food specifications due to their limited quantity. Chen and nodded in agreement. Fuyao always manages to arrange things in an orderly manner. Bring the screen up and I'll see if anyone goes in. The scene comes from Market Number 1, where Li Yan is walking cautiously in the passage, afraid that a gun may emerge from the wall. There are display screens on the walls on both sides of the channel, which will introduce what foods are in the market, making Li Yan drool. If there were really these foods, as long as they could make me eat enough, I would be willing to die. After firmly believing, he accelerated his pace and walked out of the channel. Facing you are countless shelves, neatly arranged layer by layer. The food type is written on the side of the shelf. Cooked meat, vegetarian cakes, fruits. Clothing, beverages, medicine. In addition to food, Chenin also opened other factories. For example, clothing manufacturing factories, beverage factories, and pharmaceutical manufacturing centers. Special goods such as weapons will also be listed in the future. If there was food, I knew the train wouldn't starve us to death. Li Yan was drooling and quickly ran towards the shelf of cooked meat. Looking up, it was densely packed with meat without any packaging and kept fresh in a fixed glass cabinet. Advanced meat, 0.5 star coins per kilogram. Regular meat, 0.2 stars per kilogram. Secondary meat, 0.1 star coins per kilogram. This is too cheap, can you give me a pound of high-end goods? A pop-up window pops up next to him, indicating that he needs to scan his face to make a purchase. After a simple face scan, the glass cabinet was opened and a fragrant lean meat was delivered, selling very well. Unable to care about anything else, Li Yan picked up the meat and crazily nibbled on it, his mouth dripping with oil. 3 minutes later, he finished eating a pound of meat, but his stomach didn't feel full. Another piece. However, he received a warm reminder that eating vegetarian food is more beneficial for physical and mental health. So Li Yan went to the nearest vegetarian shelf and spent 0.1 star coins to buy 5 large pancakes. Due to the large amount, he could only eat one. After everything quieted down, Li Yan felt like a dream and no longer felt any hunger. I need to quickly check my account balance. He left the market with vegetarian cakes and went to the bank to check his balance. There were still 49.2 stars left, which truly existed. Good guy, I can only borrow up to 500 coins, I'm sure I won't starve to death. Li Yan was overjoyed and immediately ran back to the carriage. The carriage was lifeless, and Tian Wei gathered more people. Li Yan, why did you go for so long? What is in your hand? Li Yan belched heavily and threw the vegetarian cake over. The fragrance of vegetarian cake spread in the air, causing rows of passengers around to stare with round eyes. Cake. Where did you get the food from? The scene became chaotic and everyone wanted to compete. Tian Wei squeezed the vegetarian cake into his hand and frantically stuffed it into his mouth. Others rushed over to compete, and the alliance that was finally established collapsed in an instant. Don't rush, there are many over there, just go and buy them yourself. Where is it? Just outside the carriage, the train has opened a new bank and market. He spoke clearly in a few words, while others rushed out frantically, their eyes turning red. In the cockpit, Chenin was watching the chaos in each carriage and instructed Fuyao to deploy more robots. If anyone did not follow the rules, they would be rewarded with 3 hours of confinement. Loan first, repay later, and interest is generated every day. Why am I becoming more and more like a capitalist? Li Yan was too anxious and didn't read the loan terms clearly. In fact, the more you borrow, the more interest you generate. Normally, you should borrow as much as you use every day. Chenin certainly won't remind them, after all, the current situation is more in line with his own interests. Continue to collect supplies and store them based on passengers' monthly consumption. Don't waste too much time here. In the next half-month, the train will continue along the established route in a straight line, only replenishing energy once in the middle and never stopping again. On this day half a month later, the train finally stopped at the station again. The galaxy ahead has detected a strong superpower, with a high probability of having energy crystals. Chenin is full of energy, he is currently lacking in energy crystals. Only by awakening to transcendence can he dare to sail for a long time, otherwise he cannot prevent his body from gradually aging. The train replenishes energy on site while mining energy crystals and other minerals. Mining robots currently reach up to 50,000, which can meet daily needs. If we continue to manufacture, we will need a complete set of spaceships, but trains cannot currently consume more resources. 2 hours later, the first spacecraft carrying energy crystals returned and entered the storage layer through the lower hatch of Carriage 1. Chenin will go down immediately. Ninjing is stacked in a specialized compartment and is a pure blue solid object, emitting a strange luster. How to awaken? There is a probability of awakening by absorbing the energy of energy crystals. It is recommended to first divide all energy crystals into basic units. A unit of energy crystal is about 2.5 grams, which is just the size of a fingernail. Chenin waited in the living room for a while, and the robot brought him the divided energy crystals. Can one awaken at this little bit? Any life-absorbing energy crystal can awaken, but some people are fast and others are slow. The master has extremely high talent, and this one is enough to awaken you. Chenin held Ningjing in his right hand, feeling cool and comfortable. No need for him to do anything, Ningjing will automatically open upon sensing the skin, then enter the flesh and blood through the pores, and then enter the blood vessels, flowing throughout the body. Hiss, it's so cold. No, it's so hot. Awakening to transcendence requires a process, please be patient, master. the alternation of hot and cold is not the biggest problem, and the swelling and pain from the blood vessels make Chen and even more uncomfortable. Fortunately, the process was not long. 2 minutes later, Chen felt his mind empty and his whole body incredibly relaxed. Subsequently, a series of tests found that he can now easily jump up to 5 meters high and run at an extremely fast speed. Boom! Chen punched the sofa and tore it open in the middle. Is this extraordinary? All attributes of my body have been greatly increased. Can I now freely enter and exit various planets? You are just a celestial climber, only stargazers can freely enter and exit the planet. However, if there is a basic environment suitable for the survival of life on the planet, you can bear gravity different from that of the purple star, and can also adapt to any virus or bacteria. Chen continued to exercise and felt great. It's like being suddenly unsealed, he can move his whole body freely. How many energy crystals can be collected approximately? Based on the total amount of energy crystals on this planet, approximately 20 million units of energy crystals can be collected. If I absorb all of it, can I directly upgrade to a star treader? And then wander freely in the starry sky, just think about it. But Fuyao broke the bucket of cold water. The Skywalker needs to strengthen every cell in their body as much as possible, which takes time and cannot be completed quickly. Based on the owner's talent and physical fitness, you can absorb up to 10 units of energy crystals per day, only 10. What do I need so much for? He suddenly lost interest. But soon he had a new idea. Put Ninjing on the shelves for 10 star coins. I need passengers to have the ability to explore as soon as possible, so they must become extraordinary. Not all planets are suitable for robot searches, and in some places, electromagnetic interference is strong, which can easily cause robots to lose signals. Therefore, it is the trend for passengers to go on adventures in the future. Chapter 10. Union System, Mission System, and Spaceship Rental System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On January 18th, the first year of the Fushu calendar. In the market of carriage 10. What is Ninjing? It's worth 10 star coins. Crazy, 10 stars can buy 20 pounds of premium meat. It's probably an IQ tax, and it's impossible for anyone to make a purchase. Indeed, all 10 carriages are aware of the new products being launched on the market, but they are just waiting and not daring to actually make a purchase. Chen did not provide any prompts for them to make their own judgments. When bored, watching the reactions of passengers is also a pleasure, and Chen gradually likes this feeling of superiority. He found that Zishu was eager to try, but was stopped by his classmate Xia Ying. Don't waste it, 10 star coins can survive for a long time. Zishu's eyes lit up and she said, but the train won't put on scrapped shelves. Ninjing must have a special function. Do you think you'll swallow it and never get hungry again? Xia Yingbai glanced at her. If there were such a magical pill, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to sell it for 1,000 star coins. Don't forget, the star coins are borrowed and we still owe money. Xia Ying's words dispelled many curious people. There is a limit on loans, and no one knows what will happen once the limit is reached. At this moment, a thin and weak boy squeezed through the crowd, walked to the shelf with a cold face, and skillfully bought Ninjing. Oh, someone is buying Ninjing. Many people immediately gathered to watch, wanting to know what the purpose of Ninjing was. The boy took out the crystal box and observed curiously. He doesn't know what this thing is for. He's just living a simple life without any love, doing whatever he wants, dying early or having a better life. Anyway, his situation won't be worse. Little brother, do you know what's the use? The bald man not far away poked his head and asked, trying to shrink his body away, afraid that the energy crystal would explode and affect him. The boy didn't answer because he felt his palms were cold and he didn't have any additional information. Oh my God, look, it can crystallize now. The melted energy crystals enter the boy's body, causing the blood vessels in his arms to appear blue and vibrant. There was a commotion around, and various speculations began. It could be some radioactive mineral, it's over, he's being exposed to high doses of radiation. It could also be a particle weapon, just triggered by him and entering the body. Can it be micronuclear fusion? That kind of blue light may appear during fusion. The last sentence frightened the crowd at the scene and they all ran outside. Shu and others did not run. As college students, they were certain that the entry of the crystal into the young man's body was not a nuclear fusion reaction, but rather a fusion of some special substance. They just don't know what this substance does. Suddenly, the boy's face turned ugly, and his whole body was emitting blue light. Hiss. He took a cold breath and suppressed the swelling and pain in his body without making a sound. He is triggering a reaction and may explode. I don't know what kind of civil science expert he is. He keeps promoting science in the market, scaring people out of their wits and squeezing into a group in the channel, unable to leave. There were cries of grief, insults, and even conflicts in some places, which caught the attention of market guards. Sister Shu, won't it really explode? Yang Yuan felt uneasy. Shu asked, what's your major? I'm studying nuclear physics, didn't you already know? Yeah, even sports enthusiasts know it's unreliable. How could you still believe it? Yang Yuan chuckled and said, I sleep in class and pick girls after class. Since the beginning of school, I haven't even flipped through a few pages of the book on nuclear physics. Yu Guan said, I testify that he has never flipped through a book, he's a complete waste. Hush, don't kick me, I'm telling the truth. Just a few jokes. Xia Ying reminds everyone that the youth is undergoing strange changes. As everyone looked around, the young man was no longer as uncomfortable as before, his pale face turned red, and his whole body was filled with a strange sense of power. He clenched his hands and the crisp sound echoed in the market. Someone quickly asked, how do you feel? The young man looked strange and said, I seem to have become stronger. He used to be thin and weak, belonging to the type of weak Lu Fufeng, but now he has bulging muscles on his arms and has grown 4 or 5 centimeters in height, causing a significant change in his overall image and temperament. At this moment, a train reminder came from above. The first extraordinary born among passengers, opening the extraordinary ranking list, the train officially opens the Union System, Mission System, and Spacecraft Rental System. Various types of lethal weapons have been officially launched in the market, and only superhumans have the purchasing authority. Shwa shwa shwa. A few shelves in the middle suddenly filled with goods, such as firearms or swords, with ASCII feel in color and design. Shu wanted to try whether she could make a purchase, but when she saw the price, she immediately gave up. A bronze-grade alloy war knife costs 50 star coins, can you steal the money? The K3 model kinetic energy pistol costs 5 stars. Is the knife more valuable than the gun? She tried to make a purchase and found that she didn't have permission. Next, the train will continue to provide prompts. Only superhumans can register a union. There is currently no limit on the number of members, only superhumans can complete train missions, and completing the mission will earn rewards such as star coins or rare items. Only superhumans can rent spaceships to leave the train for exploration. Any resources collected will be divided into 30% and 30% of the train. Only superhumans can go to other carriages, but cannot stay for a long time. Only the extraordinary have the opportunity to receive an audience from the conductor and receive a reward from the conductor. For now, let's just write it this way. We will add more chinen later. After finishing speaking, the train carriages were as quiet as cicadas, and it took a long time for them to become noisy. Oh my goodness, the extraordinary have so many permissions. Originally, we could rent spaceships to land on outer planets. If we could find rare resources, repay the loan easily, and even make money. Many people blushed with excitement when they thought of the scene of earning thousands of star coins. However, there is a premise that awakening is necessary. Awakening requires energy crystals. Anyway, awakening is extraordinary and beneficial without any harm. So the passengers rushed frantically towards the market, fearing that the crystal would be sold out. The second awakened person was Zishu, who became the second person on the ranking list. Afterwards, each awakened one will be displayed on the list, causing an unprecedented tension in the atmosphere of each carriage and not wanting to fall behind. However, in reality, there are very few who can immediately absorb energy crystals and awaken immediately. Most people need to absorb energy crystals for a long time, with awakening time ranging from half an hour to 24 hours. 1 hour later, the train released the union list. The first trade union is called Hai, and the president is Xiao Zhen, who was the young man who first awakened to extraordinary things. Not long after, a second labor union emerged, called Science, with the president being Zishu. Then a third and fourth union emerged, namely Tian Wei's Dominant Union and Qinguoyang's Hope Union. How can we rent a spaceship now that the union has it? The train must stop at the station. How can we get out without stopping? The Science Union has recruited people and they don't refuse anyone. After all, it was Zishu's good brain that immediately recruited people in the 10th carriage after registering for the union. Because there is another requirement for registering a trade union, which is to pay 100 star coins. Most people actually don't dare to register, so it's better to join other people's unions. As a result, the number of unions in the top 10 is increasing. However, the night trade union in Xiaozhen has never hired anyone, and he appears very isolated.